If you're running a garden centre in the UK this year, I'm sure you'll know it's been a very difficult and trying year. And in many instances, garden centre catering has saved the day. Even perhaps in a normal year, whatever that is, garden centre catering often saves the day in the winter. And the overwhelming view is that it's vitally important. Because it's vitally important, we've really got to focus some more effort in our businesses on making those numbers work for us in our garden centre catering operations. The HTA Key Point report, which some of you may have read, said that in 2011, up to the year June 2011, 54.5 million visits were made to garden centre cafes. Staggering amount, so we can see how important garden centre cafes are to the sector. HTA estimates also that 40% of their members have cafes. So it's only right that we spend an hour thinking about how to make those businesses more profitable for us today. And any of you know me, you'll be pleased to hear that I'm not going to be spouting off today because I'm not a garden centre caterer. I don't have a garden centre. I don't have a cafe. I've eaten in a lot of cafes. Particularly if you follow me on Facebook, you'll know that I'm always tweeting and Facebooking my meals. So I've got a lot of interest in food. I'm interested in the numbers. I'm interested in your cafe as a business case. Does it stack up for you from a profitable perspective? So to hear a little bit more about some experts' views, we've got a great panel here today to share some of their thoughts, share some of their wisdom. I will be asking them some questions, and do feel free to ask questions yourself as well. We have a roving mic. If you are going to ask a question, what I'd like you to do is say your name and where you're from, and maybe if you've got a cafe, the size of your cafe in terms of number of covers. Happy with that? Great. Okay. So our first panellist is Melanie Sewell. She's from Ffronggoch Garden Centre. I think I said that correctly, in Wales. Melanie runs the cafe. It's 150 covers. It accounts for 33% sales, 33% of sales in the business. So significant operation. Melanie joined or started running the cafe in the summer of 2006. A new cafe was opened in March 2007, and it's now more of a restaurant than a cafe. So welcome, Melanie. Look forward to your thoughts later. Paolo Arrigo from Seeds of Italy, brought up in his father's Italian deli, and in the Italian way, in the garden, in the kitchen, and at the table. He's always been around food, isn't that right? Absolutely. He's now MD of Franchi Seeds UK, the oldest family-run seed company in the world, with 7 generations still in the same family. So some significant heritage there. Paolo describes himself as a London Italian. And do you know, if you really want to know where people's roots are, it's ask them which football team they support. Paolo doesn't support England. Amanda McGreevy, Vision Commercial Kitchens. Amanda has some great knowledge and info on installing kitchens. I'm bigging you up here, Amanda. Over 10 years experience in the commercial kitchen industry. For most of that time working with Vision. Amanda's been at the forefront of garden centre catering, having established many kitchens and cafes in garden centres around the country. Amanda regularly attends the Catering Business Improvement Scheme meetings. Ask me more about that later if you want to know. And she's got some great insights to share with us later today. Then finally, Tim Bell on the right. Tim is the Regional Area Manager for the Horticultural Trades Association, the HTA. Tim represents members' interests in the east of England, going from Yorkshire down to Suffolk. So that's our panel. Let's just welcome them and give them a round of applause, shall we? Make them feel at home. Great. Thank you. We'll treat them gently. Well, maybe not. Okay. So the first question I've got, feel free, and I'll come to you, the audience, in a for a question in just a moment. But the first question I'd like to put to the panel to get their thoughts on are, what are the two most important factors to consider when thinking about how to improve the profitability in your catering offer? So what are the two most important factors? There are loads, but for our individuals, let's find out what they think are the two most important factors. Melanie, we'll start with you, if that's okay.
Yeah, certainly. Profitability, in order to know you're going to be profitable, the most important thing is to have your figures at hand. So the most important figures for this are your wages and your food costs. So, we do weekly analysis on our wages, and we'll do a monthly analysis on all our food costs, and just making sure that they both come to around 66%. And this is what we're always on top of. And I just can't emphasize enough how important that is. So in order to keep those food costs down, we're constantly negotiating prices, constantly checking prices. It's tedious, really tedious, but it really does make a big difference, especially with all these price increases in food across the board, really. Labour, we do that on a weekly basis because that is so important. And that fluctuates an incredible amount, it does, depending on what time of year and how busy we are and how we expect to be, how busy we expect to be as well. So those are the boring labour and food costs, but they're just so important. So that's the most important thing, just to keep an eye on them all the time. Once a year, absolutely, it's crazy to do it like that. You just got to keep on top of it all the time.
So you're checking those figures on a weekly basis then?
Labour weekly and food costs monthly.
Okay, excellent. Great answer. Thanks very much. Real interesting answer there, focusing on the two key costs in your catering operation, labour and food. Melanie, thanks very much. Amanda, can we take your sort of response from that, thinking as a professional installing kitchens, when someone's installing a kitchen, what do you think are the two aspects that could help improve their profitability?
I think one of the things you need to look at is the energy efficiency of the equipment that you're running with, whether it be electric or gas, whether it be induction. Look at the new equipment that's on the market that can be multifunctional, such as your combination ovens, and maximise the use of that. Your kitchen doesn't have to be massive, but it has to be well planned and economically run. I'd also like to touch on Melanie's point as well when you're talking about food costs, etc. If you go with fresh produce that's in season, then you should be able to negotiate some pretty good deals with that. So I think that's the things I would focus on.
Brilliant, great. Thanks very much. Paolo? So we're darting backwards and forwards now. I'm surprising you, you see. Paolo, what are your thoughts there? How would you improve profitability in a catering operation?
You want your customers to come back, and the way you do that is by offering a really simple, reasonable menu with some comfort food on there, something for everyone, and just by having a really good, simple menu, traditional, and the buzzword at the moment is local. It's not British. British was this year with the Olympics, with the Jubilee. We won't mention the football, Nigel. But and I've just come back from the Abergavenny Food Festival, and everyone's talking about local. They don't just want Italian mozzarella. They want mozzarella from the Abruzzo region, and they want Brie de Mieux, and they want Somerset cheddar. So I would say, local food, simply done, reasonable. You want to get those customers back. You want them to come out. I mean, I went to a pub last night for dinner, and we had frozen scampi, frozen chips, frozen peas, and the dessert was a pre-prepared one. There was nothing cooked fresh. There was nothing, So that would be mine. Less figures and less. My response is more emotional. It's more, appealing to get your customers back. Cater for everyone. High chairs as well and things like that.
But thinking on the figures point of view, do you think if people are driving that desire for local, are they prepared to pay more?
Yeah, but sometimes it's a misnomer. I mean, if you buy frozen food and pre-prepared and packet meals, a bag of spuds costs less than a bag of chips that's frozen. And it's better, it's not just what the chefs say. It's not fashionable for them to say it. It's the truth. And so, I mean, I know at home. I came home the other day with a fillet with a steak. It was a rump steak. It was about this big, and we ate two of us. 4 of us rather, on this stage.
Excellent.
And it was just the best quality. One of the guys at work, I know this is different, but he brings in spaghetti bolognese ready meals for his lunch. And I say to him, Patrick, buy a packet of pasta, buy a sauce. If you're not going to make one, at least buy a sauce. You've got 4 meals there. A packet of pasta is 4 portions. And, it's that kind of... So it's about increasing profitability by giving a better... sorry, it's a very Italian answer, isn't it?
No, but that's great. Thanks very much. So keep it fresh, keep it local. Tim, you've seen a lot of garden centre cafes in your role as HTA Regional Area Manager. Yep. What are your thoughts? How do you think your members could improve profitability?
Well, I think always the danger of being the last one at the end of the queue, as so many of the points have been covered, and very well so. I mean, from my previous experience, both working with or in garden centres to visiting them now, the control of the costs is absolutely crucial. Have a good idea, keep your cost sheets up to date, know what your ingredients are. Look at things like portion control as well. It's very easy when you're costing something out to imagine you're getting 12 slices from a gatto, but then you have to communicate that through to the staff and make sure that they do get those 12 slices. So it's all about keeping an eye on the detail. The other thing that's really important is when you look at who visits your cafe throughout the course of the week, very clear HTA research shows that there is a difference. You see perhaps a more mature, perhaps traditional customer Monday to Friday. At the weekend, you might see a younger demographic. So in terms of planning promotions, make sure you know who you think is likely to come in. Make sure the quality matches what those people are going to be looking for. And all of that has a very positive impact on reducing the wastage.
Great, thanks. So let's just summarise that. I asked these guys 2 main areas they could focus on to improve profitability. Melanie said, really work on those figures. Have those figures close at hand. And the 2 ones that Melanie's working on are labour and food costs. There are others, of course, but the 2 ones to work on. So great response there. Keep it fresh. Keep it local. Interestingly as well, that might reduce your food costs too. So great response there. Keep it fresh, keep it local, keep it vibrant.
Could I just butt in?
Yeah, sure.
Just with the food costs, and you just got to keep those down. Your wastage is your biggest thing. You need to run on a no wastage basis. There should be no wastage at any point. So the ingredients you use need to be used in lots of different ways in lots of different dishes. You need to think if you've used it one day and it doesn't get sold for whatever reason, is there a way you can use it a second time? Obviously, first and foremost, that food has got to be the highest quality possible. So you don't sacrifice the quality of what you're doing. So you need to be really clever in what you're doing with regard to the menu. You cannot afford to waste any food whatsoever.
Yeah, great.
If you look at someone like the People's Supermarket in Conduit Street, in London, their philosophy is they're a supermarket, and anything that's not sold, and they sell the bent cucumbers that the other big supermarkets won't have. They've got a really good philosophy. Knobbly tomatoes, potatoes with mud on, and anything that they don't sell, anything that's going to go out of date soon, they cook in the restaurant. Nothing goes to waste at the People's Supermarket. So again, I agree completely. It's about keeping control of your costs and not overproducing food. Yeah, definitely.
Excellent. So no waste policy. Thank you. Tim suggested, focusing on your portion control, perhaps also thinking about the demographics and, using that cafe at those quiet times of the day. And Amanda rightly said, get your equipment right to save some money. So some great thoughts there. Hopefully, that has got you thinking. And hopefully, there are some questions bubbling around in your mind that you would like to ask these esteemed people. Great. Can I take yourself first, sir? As you've come the furthest. Hey, we've got a microphone coming.
Thank you. Hi, I'm John from Sydney, Australia. So you can tell from the accent. With the cafe, we found with ours, we've gone to beer and wine. How have you found in Europe the trend, and is it the way to go? That's my very simple question.
Great question.
I don't think too much emphasis should be put on it. From where we are, we do sell beer and wine, buy the wine by the 250ml little bottles. We sell an awful lot more of the other cold drinks. I find that in a lot of garden centres they don't